Sports presents.
How you feeling, brother? What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I am feeling right. I am feeling ready for some, I don't know. I'm ready for food, man. I'm hungry.
I was just thinking about that, man. It's time for some ventilation. I think I'm going fried rice and egg rolls today. I think I'm going for that today.
Ooh.
I think right after the show, man, I'm going out in the SIZZLE mobile, that has the vendor being held up by the gorilla tape. And I'm gonna ride on down the highway. Hey, man, did I ever tell you about my daughter, man? When she had her first car, she had a PT.
Yeah.
She had a PT Cruiser.
Yes.
When she got that car, well, you know Ashley, my first daughter, like you don't know her. For the people that don't know, my daughter is part of a speed, thrill, and show driving extraordinaire company. She's one of the best thrill and speed drivers you ever want to see in your entire life, even though she's not a member of the official rally race team. But when my daughter first got her first car, there was not a dent on that car. And within about 4 months, there was a dent on every side of that car. And the fender, and the fender was being held on by some by some camouflage gorilla tape.
Yeah, well, you know what that means. It's time to start the show, baby.
You're listening to The Sizzle, the talk of the 219, the hottest sports talk in the region, on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's The Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the talk of the 219. We are the hottest talk in the 219. And Jay, let's talk about something really hot. Let's talk about what's going on this day in the NBA. We've got a slate of games, 6 games that are coming up.
Yeah,
but we got to do a lot of recovery because we got to talk about 2 players. We got to talk about Zach LaVine for the Chicago Bulls and what he's been doing. Zach has been on fire. Zach went in and put the work in. It was a Zach attack. He actually just attacked the rim. Zach did his thing. But, I mean, bruh, can we talk about spicy hot curry? I mean, my man.
That was pretty good.
Look, we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
But Steph Curry is on fire, bro. Not only does he have one of the hottest putt golf shows on, he also he has a new shoe dropping, and he is dropping opponents in the grease. It is barbecue chicken for anybody who wants to come up against Steph Curry and the new off-colored braids. I mean, my man is doing it. He is putting it in. He is all thug, all thizzle. He is all thug, thizzle.
He has been working people out with the handles. I saw him. He put a couple of players in the spin cycle. I mean, just nasty handles all over the place. Yes. Did you see, and I'm sure this is, most people have seen this by now, did you see him hit those 105 3-pointers in a row?
Dude.
Ridiculous.
This is warm up. Just warm up.
5 minutes of 3-pointers. This guy hit 5 minutes of 3-pointers and 105 in a row. That is probably one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. He was just sitting in the corner letting it fly. It was absolutely amazing. It's just a lot of points being scored in the NBA. We see the Chicago Bulls. You got Zach LaVine channel his inner Jordan, almost going for the second high most points being scored in a half by a Bull. So it's an exciting time, man, for just to have the NBA back. It's just to have basketball, some form of semblance of sports. Again, you know what? Just a little quick side note. I'll just read down. I know we're going to hit it, but I just wanted to hit it right quick. That we see that March Madness now. It's going to be put in Indianapolis. They're going to put it into a bubble. And they're just going to have games being played around that area down there. And I'm wondering now, are they going to cut the field down from a field of 65 down to maybe a field of 32? I'm just wondering how they're going to do that because you got to bring all these teams in from all around the country, and you got to put them all into the Indianapolis area. I don't know if they got enough hotels down there.
Oh, Indianapolis has far enough. They have hotels. You can go Speedway if you have to.
Wow.
But the one thing, if they're going to publicize them, they're going to probably put them right across the street from the NCAA headquarters. You know, it's huge down there, and you've got Energy Life Field. So you've got the Pacers Stadium. You've got it. And maybe this might be what you see as a turn of events. You might see a push now to have the tournament localized and have it in one spot versus multiple spots all over the country. This might be the start of a change in what we see in American sports. But let's talk about the Bulls quickly. They're playing tonight. They're going to go up against Portland. And Portland has had their way with the Bulls for the last 3 seasons. I think they've been swept as Portland has come in and done whatever they wanted to do. Carmelo Anthony just coming in, averaging crazy numbers against the Bulls, like 24-9. He is just doing ridiculous things. But we've got to give big props to the last game. Zach LaVine put up 39 points, just 1 point shy of 40. Now, let me hit you with this, Jay. He scored, 21 points in the first half. In the first half. You know what was so amazing about it is that a Bulls player, this is the most. His 29 in the first half was the most since the 97 Bulls. So that throws him back to the MJ time. That throws him back in that zone.
It throws the numbers back. It throws the numbers back to that time, but we still haven't seen consistency like that yet. Just because we do it once or twice, we got to get consistent with it. That's the biggest thing with the Bulls right now is that they'll show you these flashes, and then all of a sudden you don't see any more spark for a couple of more games later. That's the biggest problem with the Bulls right now. The Bulls' record reflects that. They're really good against bad teams, and then when they get against good teams, they go and they get the cold water doused on their spark. So the question is now, you went off and went big, but can you go off against a team like Dame Lillard's team right now, who came out being embarrassed with the Golden State, with Curry running around dropping 62. It's going to be just like Dame Lillard. He's going to come back and say, I need to make a statement. So I want to see now, can the Chicago Bulls, especially Zach LaVine, can we get another back-to-back 30-point game out of him? Can we get another back-to-back Michael Jordan-esque type of showing? If we can do that, now we might have something working. We look up today and his stat line is 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, then that just tells us that we're back up and down again like a roller coaster with these Bulls.
That's funny because the Bulls have out-rebounded and outscored opponents in the paint this season. They're putting in the work, but as you said, Jay, it's no consistency. I like that Otto Porter has moved back into the starting role, has a lot of ability, he has a lot of fluidity, so he can kind of move around and do whatever he likes.
So do you like that starting lineup though right now? Do you like the lineup they're rolling out right now? Is that the?
I don't like it. I don't love it. But if it wins games for them right now, you have to just roll with it. I'm not a big fan of Wendell Carter, and I'm not. I believe that you can find Wendell Carter anywhere around the league. I don't see anything that makes him special yet.
So do we look at these guys right now who are in COVID protocol right now, Hutchinson and Satoransky? When these guys are able to come back and play, do they get back into their regular spots into the rotation? Or do we find some spots on the oak and have them sit for a while because these other guys have been, you start to see a little bit of cohesiveness with the Bulls. You actually starting to see the ball not stick. It's starting to move around. The guys are actually starting to look like they know where they're going. You actually see Coby White even though I don't know when Coby White became the outside three-point jump shot shooter. I don't know when that occurred. I looked at the last the last game or the game before. I just looked at his shots. I think he took 3 shots in the paint. Everything else was out beyond the three-point arc. And he loves taking he loves taking that shot dead on, right, looking straight at the basket. So Coby has decided he's going to channel his inner Curry. He says, Curry can go for 62. Maybe I can go for 22. I'm just going to let it fly from the arc. And so, but I'm wondering, is that a recipe for success with the Bulls when you have your point guard taking that many shots to score 20 points at that distance? How efficient is he, and can he be efficient as a ball distributor? Because that's what he needs to be doing first. So we got to see, is this a situation where we allow these young Bulls to keep doing what they're doing right now, or do we bring in these people when they're off of COVID protocol, and maybe 10 days from now, and we bring them back in? Do they fall back into these regular slots? It's going to be interesting what Billy Donovan's going to do.
I think if you can find a good marriage between the two, and you can put Sato back in that backup point guard role, and then have him play off, and then when you do rest your starters, as we've seen Billy Donovan's 9-man rotation. Really, when he takes those starters out, he leaves one of those starters in. It would be good to see Sato and Coby do some things. But right now, if you get Zach to get some consistent production, as he did last game, he was able to find some cutters and some movers. That's why I like Otto Porter there, because Otto Porter knows how to find that little soft spot, flash, give you a target, and then if you can get the bounce pass to him or you can drop it to him, he can finish that shot. Something that, we're seeing the development with Lauri. We see him taking guys off the dribble now, driving to the basket, not just settling for the outside three, but you still haven't seen it enough from the team as a whole. The question would be, what can they do together with some consistency?
Well, that's what I was just going to ask, too. What do you think about old school Thaddeus Young? You know what I'm saying? We've seen flashes of him. He's played really well now. So do we look at what's going to be best man up playing for the Bulls right now? Are we not going to look maybe so much developing? And does that mean that, Thaddeus Young's been playing well? Is he a person that looks like going to be getting a lot more minutes right now? Is there enough basketballs rolling around? It's just going to be interesting right now to see the way Billy Donovan wants to roll with his ball club. Are we in full developmental stage, or are we looking at this possibly this might be a team that he could play into shape and maybe make a run in the playoffs? So it's interesting right now, but he's going to have to decide. This is a shortened season. Before we know it, it's going to be mid-February, and it's going to be time to wrinkle these minutes in. And the guys who are going to play, your top 7 guys who are going to play, those are the guys who are going to get the minutes for you.
Yeah, right now I think they're still doing the analytics. I think they're still watching to see what you have. I think you're giving Wendell Carter enough rope to see if he's either going to sink or swim. You're going to see if he can pull himself out of some funks. You're going to see now what Daniel Gafford can do as that backup 5. Can he come in and do some work in the paint? You're going to see a lot of, because Billy Donovan has a lot of defensive principles. He likes a lot of rotational defense. So you're going to see the Bulls really come in, and to your point, Jay, they're going to have to work together. But the linchpin to this is time. It's timing that you've got to get together. And unfortunately for the Bulls, this COVID situation has been a killer because it's thrown off your rotations. You really don't have consistency. But the only developmental thing I like, now I know he hasn't made you jump out of your seat, but I like what they're doing with Pat Williams. I like how they're bringing him in, moving him along, not slowly. They've just thrown him in the fire. They dumped him in the grease early, and now he's out there cooking. So he's got to sizzle when he's out there, put in some work. I know his chest is probably still a little sore from Giannis just putting it in and just putting those shoulders just.
He's still averaging under 10 points a game, though. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen this offensive explosion out of him yet. And I'm wondering, is it there? Does he have the ability to go out and get you 22, 24, 26 a night? Is he that guy? I don't know if he is, because I still have not seen that I'm taking over the game. I haven't seen that yet out of him. I haven't seen that explosion out of him. So I'm waiting for that. He's got the nice jumper. He's nice. I mean, he's a nice all-around basketball player. But was he worthy of your 4th pick? I mean, you look at the upside. I know we couldn't get LaMelo or anything, but you look at the upside of LaMelo. You look and see what he's doing. You see what energy he brings to the ball club. But even with Patrick, I don't. Do you really see the energy coming from a young fella? Sometimes he's on the floor. You don't know he's there. I mean, he's playing. He's your solid deep. Now he's a solid player. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying about that. He's a very solid player. he's a good player. I think he's going to be a good NBA player for a long time. But at that fourth pick, though, you needed a guy that was going to come in and say, okay, I am the man. I'm going to break people down. If we're losing, I'm taking it to the basket. And I don't know if we've seen that out of him yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Usually, though, Nostradamus, we start looking into the future a little bit, and we start going, I don't know now. I'm not seeing superstar out of this guy yet. And
well, let me ask you this: is that his profile when he came out of Florida State?
He's a fourth pick. Then why pick a guy who didn't start on his own team?
I don't know. Maybe because you need him to be a solid all-around player.
Why pick a guy who didn't start on his own team? That was my thing from that night to now. He's a solid player. Don't get me wrong about that. But what I'm saying to you is the fourth pick in the NBA draft. You don't want to pick fourth again. You really don't. You don't want to pick fourth again for the next 10 years. You don't want to pick fourth. You know what I'm saying? You want to find somebody down, that you had to move up to 10 or 11th to get. You had to finagle some stuff around to get up to 10 to pick up a guy. You do not want to have to be up here and picking this high in the lottery. If you're picking this high in the lottery, that means you're trash. That's the reason why you're picking this high in the lottery. Or you did a Golden State who got Weissman, and I tell you, whenever they get Clay back, and you got this young fella on here, that's going to be something once they pull that thing together, if they get Clay back at any point in time next year. Weissman looks pretty good. But the thing about that is this fourth-round pick, your guy that you need right now, and I don't know what you could have done any different, but I still think you could have maneuvered this around, still got this guy, and brought somebody else in there that would have helped your ball club.
Outside of Tyrese Halliburton, I don't see any other player that from the fourth all the way down to the 30th pick right now that wows me at any point. In fact, none of these rookies yet have begun to wow me. In fact, when you look at Denny, you saw him in 2 games with the Bulls. Did he wow you?
No, but I didn't want him anyway.
Drafted in that.
But the key to it was that if you look at Halliburton, is a guy you could have got who to me had more upside than Patrick Williams right now. Halliburton's going to go in and try to score the basketball. You've seen him try to take games over. You haven't seen it. I don't think that is Patrick Williams' mentality, is to go in here and be. I think he's too nice of a guy. Can I say that right? I think he's a really good kid. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he checks all the boxes. But sometimes you need the guy who every once in a while could be in the back alley with you in a street fight. Do you want Patrick Williams in the back alley with you in a street fight? You know what I'm saying? When they were getting blasted out, that 40 or 50 ball being dropped on, did you see any type of fight coming out of him? And maybe that wasn't his place.
I don't know if that was his place as a rookie. I don't know if you can come in and you can do the Wendell Carter.
But it has to be your place as a competitor, though. I mean, if you're taking it on the chin, you just can't take this beat down like that, huh?
Yeah, but okay, if you don't have Zach doing it, you don't have Coby doing it,
okay,
you don't have anybody else doing it,
so you don't have a leader.
Don't jump up and just say,
so you don't have a leader. So you don't have. Well, okay, but you're the number 4 pick. You're the franchise.
They don't have a leader. They don't have one. That's why you can't get a consistent effort with Zach. They don't have anybody that's going to say, all right, we're not going to be 50 ball. We're not going to be 40 ball. I'm going to slap somebody in the face.
Right.
No, they don't have that.
This is what this Bulls team lacks right now. You don't have heart and soul out there. You don't have heart and soul. You don't have guys who are just going to dig deep down and come to fight. I think a lot has to do from where guys are raised. I really do. When you're coming off the streets a little bit and you're coming out these tough areas, that's where you see the AIs of the year of guys coming on. That's where you see the Derrick Roses come around. Where you see these different type of players. Now, is Steph Curry a guy who's going to get into a street fight with you? Yeah, but he's so skilled that you could be out there with a baseball bat and he'd be out there with a 4-inch knife and he'd carve you up before you knew it, because he had this skill level that's so far beyond everybody else's. But when you look at guys who are just going to get in there and battle and fight day in and day out, I don't think we see that with the Bulls. Even with the Bulls, even with their veterans, you don't really see that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one thing the Bulls are really, really missing. And I'm not seeing that out of Patrick Williams. Like I said, maybe he's not that guy, but somebody has got to lead the charge. Somebody has to say, we will not get 50 balled again. Somebody got to say, when we're down, hey, we're going to have to hard foul somebody. So somebody's got to say, I'm taking it on myself. I'm taking it to the rack. I'm going to keep taking it to the rack and let them knock me down. And I'm going through the three-point free throw line, and I'm going to hit free throws. And somebody's got to be that guy.
Well, obviously the Bulls don't have it, and Zach is not that guy. Zach talk tough. If you listen to Zach, you think he's really going to get up and whip you. He's one of those guys. He has that I'm talk tough walk, but you've never seen him do it. There has been no consistency. Since traded to the Bulls have only won 71 games since he's been traded to them, and I want to say that was in 2017. So the track record isn't there for him. But I tell you who is. A guy who put up 39 and 8, 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, and that was the one, the only Steph Curry in his performance against the Sacramento Kings. He put in work. And Jay, to your point, when you're looking for someone to put in that kind of work, I mean, there are highlights all from last night of games where people pulled in that extra effort.
Yeah.
When you look at the Pacers, what they did, Victor Oladipo, how he was able to pull it out against your Pels. I know you like the Pels.
Yeah.
I know that you secretly like the Pels and you just won't tell anybody. But I know you like it. I know you like it. And then you have to have somebody who has some fire, like James Harden, who went in and put in work against, Luka and the Mavs. Luka is the Mavs are Luka. But when you've got James Harden giving you a double-double, it's really hard because he's going to put in that work. He's going to do the things Zach isn't able to do. Or then you have a Giannis when he came in and put the foom fops on Detroit again.
Yeah, just nasty. Just nasty.
Just 43 points of just ugliness.
Just nasty. He just like, you know what? I'm nasty. I got the funk face on. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know I'm physically stronger than everybody, but however, I don't like you. So I'm going to come in and try to abuse you if I can. And that's what I want to see. I want to see that type of, if you were drowning, I would put a water hose in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And turn the water on full. I want to see that guy. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy I want to see.
Wow, bro.
That's the guy you got to have. You got to have that guy. You know what I'm saying? Look, every crew always had that guy. Like, hey, man, make sure that guy ain't around your sister or something like that. But when this stuff went sideways, right? Mm-hmm. Call Ray and them. Call Ray.
Wow, bro. That's crazy.
That's crazy. But you know what else is crazy? Jason Tatum putting up 40 points over the Raptors.
Yeah.
You need, and I see
another nasty guy.
Patrick Williams. He's not Jason Tatum. He's not going to give you not yet.
I don't see it. Jason Tatum had to from when he got into the league. When he came in there, he was like, "Oh, y'all don't believe in it? Oh!" All of a sudden, they weren't talking about him. And all of a sudden, you start hearing Jason Tatum. Oh, Jason Tatum. Oh, Jason Tatum did this again. And all of a sudden, now you say his name, and you put some spec on his name. You just don't say Jason Tatum like Jay. No, you go, oh, Jason. Let me stop, put a comma behind his name, and let me see what he's about. Let me give him some respect because he's earned his respect because he'll put it to you. This is what the Bulls need. The Bulls don't have a put it to you type guy, and that's what this fourth pick should have been, a put it to you type guy, and he just wasn't.
You're hoping that Patrick Williams can turn out to be Jaylen Brown. That's what you're hoping. Best case scenario.
Would you please give me that? Because I think he has a skill set. I just don't think he's nasty yet. But is he Scottie Pippen though? Right? For about them 2 years before Michael Jordan really got a hold to him. We remember when Scottie first got here. Scottie was nice, but he wasn't that dude.
Right.
Then after about 2 years of playing with Mike, And Mike, not letting him sit down and eat at the table and whatever else he was doing to him and making him stand up on the flights home and he couldn't get no ice cream or whatever else he was doing to people back then, he became Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was that nasty. I'm going to stand over you, dunk on you, look at you, Patrick Ewing, walk over you, all that. He was that guy. You know what I'm saying? So we need Patrick Williams to become Scottie Pippen. Yep. Maybe not so much in greatness, but definitely in attitude. Because Scottie wasn't no punk on the back end. You didn't want none of Scottie. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because remember now, in Batman and Robin will whip your behind. Rest assured about that. Robin will get that behind. And you need somebody to get in that behind right now. So I'm waiting to see if Billy Donovan is going to start. I mean, what are they doing in practice?
They're going to have to do something because right now, I think one of the biggest mistakes that the Bulls franchise made was they let things get very personal and they got in their way. They're gotten themselves way and they got into their feelings. Gar Forman, Garpax got into their feelings and you let a Tom Thibodeau leave. You let one of the architects of maybe one of your greatest secondary dynasties, you let him walk out the door. To your point, you had the Derrick Rose. But even before the Derrick Rose, you had the Kirk Heinrich. You had the
nasty
Gordon,
fight.
The Luau Deng.
Fight. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you. We ain't taking this. Right.
Yeah, you had all the guys that were even the bench mob, the Ronnie Brewers, those guys that were there, but especially your Joakim Noahs, you had dudes that would fight you.
And the one guy they had that would fight you, they got rid of, and that was Bobby Portis.
Yes. They didn't want any of that. That's what I'm saying. The Bulls did them. We talked about this with the Bears when we went back and said, I think Ryan Pace should be fired because he is failing the shareholders, his fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you're making a profit. He's costing you money. And in that sense, with Garpax, you see that they cost themselves money because they started feeling some kind of way. You sent away a Bobby Portis for a guy who punched another guy in the face, but the guy he punched in the face, you didn't want him there anyway. Right. And you were saying that the whole time, John Paxson, you wanted some heart, hustle, and muscle. Jordan used to punch people in practice. So what's the deal? There are probably people who get punched in practice every day we don't hear about.
On a regular.
And now you don't want Bobby Portis out there slinging folk around. But I tell you what you didn't have. You didn't have any 50 burgers. You didn't have 40 burgers.
Absolutely right. Didn't have it. Didn't have them. You might beat us, but we gonna some of this fight. We about to bring some of this fight to you. And they just laid down. It's just like that first game of the year. Laid down. They didn't know what they were doing. There wasn't no fight. I don't care if you don't know. I don't care if they roll you out there and you have not had a practice, right? You don't go out there. They might backdoor you and they might do some things to you and run some high pick and rolls you're not used to. But you can rest assured you can fight through some stuff. And after a while, y'all doing that little cute stuff, we're going to start taking people out the air. We're going to start fighting over screens. We're going to start really trying to manhandle people. We're going to start setting our own screens.
Mm-hmm.
Double screens, start knocking people down. You know what? We might be the 12th man on the bench might be playing before it's all over with. But you gonna know y'all was in a fight. That's what has to happen with this Bulls ball club. They're just too soft right now. I hate to bring the soft word out, but you got a lot of charming going on in this ball club.
Ooh, them fighting words. Oh, tough talk. Because let me tell you something. The Knicks just put up between Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett. They put up 54 points and 28 rebounds to beat a Hawks team that came in and destroyed the Bulls. It was laughable. Yeah. Literally, they were laughing on the sideline, laughing, taking shots. You're not going to laugh at me, but let's put it into perspective. Let's look at the power rankings right now. As for January 4th, the power rankings were Lakers 1, 76ers 2, Clippers number 3, Suns number 4, and the Jazz number 5. Surprisingly enough, the 4-2 Jazz slipping into those power rankings as a top 5. Now, everybody can't have a Steph Curry. Everybody can't give you 62 points. Blazers, that was on you. 62 points. Take that and love it. But to your point, Jay, I need some fight. And maybe that's what Billy Donovan is really saying. Maybe ultimately he's saying, I need some dogs. And right now we've got puppies. So nobody can come off the porch because they don't want to come down here in the yard.
Your team reflects your coach.
Okay.
If you want a tough offensive line, you better have a tough offensive line coach.
But wait. Minnesota, when Tom was there. Now, yes, you had Sire Butler who was killing everybody.
Oh, I was about to say what?
Yeah, but they were Charmin. Without Jimmy Butler.
Absolutely right. And that's why you saw Tom Thibodeau play literally 4 people. Sometimes he wouldn't run a 5th person out there. Literally, he was running 4. We'll go 4 against 5. Literally.
Wiggins was soft. Cat was soft. I mean, their backup players were probably harder.
But look who. But you got to think about it though. Look who was leading that ball club, Squire Butler, and Squire Butler was channeling his inner Tom Thibodeau, and Tom was like, "Go out there." Can you imagine what those practices were like?
Oh, somebody was getting hurt.
Somebody was getting laid out and hurt. Now, sometimes as a head coach, you don't get to pick all your vegetables for your soup. You know what I'm saying? True. Sometimes you just go up on. It's like what's that? Not Top Chef. What's the other one? Where they pull the stuff in the basket? Huh?
The Iron Chef.
No, the other one where they give you a basket. Sometimes you have a cow's ear in there, some peanut butter, and some chicken toes. And they're talking about you got to make a dessert. Sometimes you, as a chef, you open up your basket. I don't care what you get with this basket. You ain't going to be able to make this work. I think Tom Thibodeau was in that position up there, that they didn't give him the players that he wanted, that he had to play. Now, we look at Wiggins, we look at those guys, super talented guys. Super talented. But you see, they went to the Warriors. Had there been any type of fight with them, the Warriors would be in a better position than what they were now. But they got to the Warriors on talent. And again, when they really needed, look what happened to them. You know? So my thing is that I believe that your team reflects you as a coach. Now, sometimes you're in a position where you don't have the horses and you ain't going to win this race. But that don't mean you can't fight. And that's my biggest problem with the Bulls right now is that you just don't see these guys locking down, getting angry, knocking somebody on the ground, let's get a little tough. Let's get a little tough. Let's not accept that I'm getting balled out. You know what I'm saying? I need a little Westbrook. Give me a little Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? Something. Give me a little crazy. A little crazy goes a long way.
Oh, I thought you meant like a little Westbrook. I thought there was like a little one there. Like his little brother.
I take him too.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the 6 games tonight. 5 games tonight. The Jazz and Nets, Lakers, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Spurs, Clippers, and then the Bulls versus the Trailblazers. That Jazz Nets game, see a lot of injuries, probably a lot of rest. You've got Kevin Durant, who's already in the health and safety protocols, won't be playing.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
Kyrie. So I don't know. Jazz have been really putting in work. They've been doing a lot of things. And Rudy Gobert has a lot of antibodies since he was like patient 0 of the COVID for the NBA. So I don't think he's going to be out. I think it's going to be a great game where the Jazz go in and put their foot down on the Nets and put in some work.
Yeah, I think, the whole thing is just what we talked about with Brooklyn from the beginning. Can they keep these guys healthy? Can they keep them on the floor? Because if you can't keep the big 2 on the floor with each other, then they're woefully undermanned at some point. So we're going to wait and see what happens. But again, until we get both those guys on the floor at the same time and playing at a high level, I think this is what the situation. So like you said, Utah look like this. They're going to get them and get them by about 10.
Yeah, Mike Conley's been putting in work this season. I'm not really concerned about Timberwolves Nuggets. I mean, it is going to be what it's going to be. The Nuggets will be there at the end of the year. The Timberwolves will not. You've got Lakers, Grizzlies. Grizzlies have their 2 top players out, and LeBron may or may not play for the Lakers. If he does or does not, probably will determine if AD plays or not. So if he's out, that's a snoozer. And then you got Spurs Clippers, which you've got some interesting storylines going on. But again, with the Nuggets and the Clippers, I think they're in the same box where you need some consistency to see what you're going to get. But again, Jazz, Nets, well, that's going to be my pick to click tonight for some good basketball. Now, the question is, with Bulls Trailblazers, can the Bulls use that momentum they took from Dallas and make it work as they travel out to Portland tonight? And to your point, Jay, you're going to have some dogs somewhere.
Because I'm going to tell you what, Dame does not like getting embarrassed. And then we have not said anything about his running mate. Well, is CJ McCollum, is he still on with them?
Yes, he is, sir.
So we haven't said, and I think he has a higher scoring average than Dame does. So we're looking right now, you got that backcourt coming at you. Now let's see what Coby White does against this backcourt. Let's see.
Gets steamrolled.
Let's see what he does. Let's see what he does against this backcourt. Let's see, because I'm gonna tell you one thing he's been really lacking on. He's been letting them threes fly, but he's been put in the spin cycle, the absolute spin cycle. People are breaking him down on his defense. So we've seen people go unabated to the basket past him. Like he gets hit with the 1-2 step, and next thing you know, it's like the Sandman ran out there with that hook and grabbed it around his waist, and he just kept going. And the ball went the other direction. So we got to see, can Coby fight? Can Coby get tough? Fight over the top of these picks? Can he get tough and break down and lock somebody down on defense and move his feet? Because if he doesn't, Dame and CJ is going to put the work on him.
Yeah. So if you look at this game, Jay, and we look at what we think scoring is going to be, do you see the Bears? No, I don't see the Bears scoring over 14 against the Saints. No, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong show. My bad. We'll hit that one later on in the week. So do you see the Bulls coming out with a victory as they travel to Portland this evening?
I'm gonna tell you what, if we see our point guard letting it fly from three like he's Steph Curry, if he has more 3-point attempts than he has assists, that's going to be a loss.
Well, you know what they got to do.
Everyone has to do their job.
Wrong team, Tom.
Do your job.
That's all you got to do.
That's wrong team, Tom. Come on back, Tom.
You still got to do your job. I mean, you still got to go out there and do your job. You got to put in some work.
Let me tell you something, man.
You got to do your job.
Yeah, Coby has to remember, I am a point guard, not a number 2 guard. I'm a point guard. I need to come down and distribute the basketball. I need to give people good layups and good looks, open threes. I need to break people down. I need to move to like a virtuoso out there, moving the different parts around so that I can get people open. This is what I need to be doing. You don't need a guy out here who's trying to outshoot the other point guard. And that's what we got right now. And so that's just the reason why the Bulls are on the back end of some of these ball games right now. Because you got a guy, I'm going to get my points. I'm going to get mine, but the point guard, that's not the point guard. You're not Steph Curry. Nobody is. You understand? Nobody is. Facilitate the basketball. Move the basketball around. Get people open.
Maybe Coby's facilitating and he's channeling his inner Seth Curry.
Hey, look, hey, I'm gonna tell you what, little brother Curry ain't bad either now. You know, but what does little brother Curry play predominantly?
Off guard.
Off guard. He's predominantly off guard here. He's predominantly a point.
All right, man, you just made my whole argument. I don't like when you do that, because now, yeah, it makes me think Coby White sucks.
Well, here's my whole thing about look, you got to get a point guard in here. This is what my biggest thing was. You got to get a point guard. That's why if you could have worked that Derrick Rose deal out with Detroit, I know I keep harping on that. You still could have got Patrick Williams And you could have had a professional point guard.
Yeah, true. To that point, you're right. You've got some point guards who are available out there. You can go to Minnesota. They've got some point guards. You can go back to the well in Denver. Denver has some. You got Monty Morris sitting right there.
They got point guards.
They've got somebody. You can make a trade. You can send out anybody off this Bulls squad. Literally. You can send out anybody because it really, at this point, I don't think it really matters.
And look, right, and nothing against Coby White. I like Coby White, but I don't like him at the point for the Bulls. You know, he should be playing a two guard somewhere. The thing is about it, but that goes back all those times, and now you're picking 7th and 8th. You know, and it's what 7th and 8th round, 8 picks in the draft do for you, is that they put you in this quandary. They put you in a position, and if you miss on them, not saying Coby White's a miss yet, but because he will score some points for you, but is he going to make your team better when he's on the floor? Do the other guys' scoring averages go up when Coby White's on the floor? Matter of fact, next time we come up, I'm going to take a look at that to find out just what is the differential when he's on the floor and not on the floor compared to his teammates, because he's got to make the other guys around him better. The reason why the Splash Brothers are so important out there is because you cannot run away from them. You have to stay with them. Coby White, I understand you're taking an open three-pointer because that's the way you feel the best way you're going to be able to score the basketball. I understand you're trying to stay in the league, but let's get more than 3 shots around the basket. That's telling me you're not going to the line. If all you're doing is shooting jump shots all the time, that means you're not breaking your guy down and taking him to the basket. That means you're not getting him in foul trouble, and you're not putting their point guard on the bench. And this is what you got to do. As a point guard, you got to be, it's like having a good jab in boxing. The jab is usually not going to knock you out, but a good jab sets up the big punch. You know, if you got a good jab, you can keep people at bay. But right now, we don't have a good jab to keep people at bay. That's why the Bulls either do really well against bad teams or do poorly against good teams.
Well, we're going to leave it there because I think a lot of this can be resolved and solved the day the Bulls find a competent, doesn't even have to be great, you have to find a competent point guard. Maybe you'll see the best out of Zach because he hasn't played with a good point guard. Maybe you can put Coby back on the bench, have him as your microwave coming off the bench. I think this whole thing is predicated on guard play and what's going to happen moving forward with the Bulls.
Yeah.
But you know who it is. You know what this is. This is the Sizzle. We talk that hot talk. We give you the hotness right here, give you stats, we give you breakdown, we give you analysis, we give you everything you need. And you know how you find us. Go anywhere on social media, go to any of your platforms, and you can find us at Iron Skillet Sports, or you can look us up at #Skillet_sports.
Yeah.
We're everywhere you want to be. So make sure that you're liking, subscribing, and sharing once you get to wherever you go, be it YouTube, be it Instagram, be it Twitter. We're there. You can even find us on Facebook. And if you'd like to join the fun, we're right in Messenger. You can find the Sizzle, the talk of the 219. That's our chat line. You can get in on the action. You can see what's going on. You can see what's going on in fantasy because we've got our fantasy basketball and fantasy football. Our season just wrapped. So we've got a lot going on.
I know, that took
man.
fourth. I'm out of the
fantasy
money.
Huh?
I'm out of the money, too. That made me mad.
Yeah, that fantasy.
Alvin Kamara with 75 touchdowns in one game.
Yeah. You know you beat me by a fifth of a point.
But I beat you. That's all that matters.
Everyone has to do their job.
That's right. I'm number one.
Do your job.
And with that said, I'm G Sizzle. He's a hater named Jay Sizzle.
I'm number one.
Yeah, and I think we were fighting for 5th place.
I'm better than you. That's the only thing that matters. I'm number one. I'm number one right here, baby. I'm number one. I wear the crown. See?
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the talk of the 219. We are the hottest talk in the 219, and we will see you on the other side.